Good evening, everybody. It is Wednesday, 19 April 2023. We are on map show number 98, very close to hitting that magical number. That will happen next week, Wednesday, so make sure you dial in then. Allow me the honor to introduce the speaker tonight. His name is none other than Glen McQuirk, and he's going to talk about COVID now. Over to you, Glen.
Well, good evening. This is a very exciting night, and I trust that as I share this message with you, that it's going to resonate with the kind of things that you've been thinking about, and that it's going to prepare you for an exciting 2023 going into the future. I say going into the future because what you and I do today has an impact. Our choices today shape our future. And it was during the year 2020 when Map for Life had a plan to host a launch event in the city of East London. It was scheduled to start on the 29th of March and finish on the 4th of April 2020. And just 3 days before that event was scheduled to happen, of course, we had this wonderful holiday that was granted to us for a period of 3 weeks initially, which became 2 years, maybe even longer. For us, it was effectively a three-year holiday. And I say holiday tongue in cheek. But, you know, during this time, the world has been preparing for an exciting future. There are so many new things taking place, so many new things happening. I think we are entering into a new era. I started the year 2022 by saying that this is the purpose era. And I want to continue on that theme this evening. So when I talk about COVID, what I'm actually referring to is an acronym, and the letters C.O.V.I.D stand for this: clarity of vision influences direction. Clarity of vision influences direction. I think you and I, using Map for Life, we understand the importance of having a clear vision. I mean, I'm wearing a new pair of spectacles this evening, and I can assure you, when I take these spectacles off, my vision is not clear. And when I talk about my vision, I'm talking about my physical vision, the sight, the ability to see with my eyes is very poor. But what's amazing is when I close my eyes, I can see things more clearly. From this vantage point with my eyes closed, I can see the map of the world. I can see all the cities of the world. I can see the people of the world. And I know that with that kind of ability, vision is incredibly powerful. So I want to talk a little bit about clarity of vision that influences direction. What does clarity do? Clarity for me brings conviction. It brings commitment. It does something about the way that you engage with the vision that you have. So many people talk about vision. They talk about dreams. They talk about wishes. They talk about things they'd like to see in the future. But there is no conviction. There's no commitment. Their character seems to be weak. They are incapable of following through on the choices or the decisions that they have made. So it is clear to me that if there is a lack of conviction, a lack of commitment, a weakness in character, it suggests that the vision is not clear. The vision is not inspiring. The vision is not, or does not have, an emotional connection. And I think it's important that when we choose visions, we choose when we choose visions, do we choose vision? That's a good question to ask. When we've seen a vision, when we've seen the future, when we've seen the reality of what the future can be, and we recognize that we have the gifts and talents to step in that direction, when we've seen it, it should be something that is external in nature. In other words, it is designed to meet a societal need. In other words, it links with purpose. It has meaning. Without that, when we focus on me, myself, and I kind of visions, where we imagine ourselves sitting on a throne, where we imagine ourselves being the president of a country, where we imagine ourselves being the most powerful person on the planet, the superhero, those kind of dreams are wishy-washy. They kind of have no conviction. One day you go want to be Superman, the next day it's Batman, then it's Spider-Man, and who knows what other kind of man you want to be. Maybe it's even a woman, like Superwoman, or somebody from Black Panther. I don't know what your superhero might be, but I can tell you this, that if your dream or vision is all about you, nobody's buying in. You need to have a vision that is focused on the upliftment of others, of meeting a societal need, something that's going to inspire other people to connect with their purpose and passion in a way that's going to touch the world in an everlasting way. So clarity is essential, and it is highlighted through your commitment and your conviction. The other thing about clarity of vision is it highlights or reveals opportunity. When you know what is lying in front of you, or what is lying in the future that you are moving towards, suddenly opportunities present themselves everywhere. You meet people that you've never met before that have a vision or a contribution that they can make towards the same vision. You see things all over. Just today, I traveled an hour from where I am to a place called Sandton in the metropolitan city of Johannesburg, South Africa. And while I was there, I went into a building, and in this building, I saw the very model. I say model. I've created a model of what the Map for Life school is going to look like. I walk into this building, and right there in the center of the building is a ready-made replica of the very thing that I've created as a small model, but it's full size in this building. This is what happens when you have clarity of vision. You begin to see things that you never saw before. So if opportunities are scarce in your life, if you feel like there are no opportunities, that you've been dealt a poor hand, then maybe it's time to go and just dust off your vision and check, is this vision something that meets the desires of my heart? Is it aligned with my purpose? Is it connected with my gifts and talents? Is it something that I dream and think about all day, all night? Is it something that causes me to lose track of time? What kind of vision is it that I have? Is it something I talk about to everybody I see, or do I keep it hidden? Your vision needs to make you feel alive. And that brings me to the V, which is vitality. When you have clarity of vision, man, vitality is something that comes into your bones. You start feeling younger. I used to joke when I was in my 20s, and people used to speak with me. I used to say, you know something, it's amazing. The products that I use keep me younger. You would never say that I am 60 years of age. And I used to joke with people then. And I can't believe how close I am to that age today. But I want to say to you right now is that when you have clarity of vision, it invigorates you. It brings vitality into your life. It makes you feel alive in a way that nothing else can. There's so many other things to look at and to focus on, and are there to distract you. But when you have clarity of vision, that is the only thing that's important for you to look at. And you need to focus on it clearly so that nothing can distract you from that which you're called to do. Clarity of vision influences direction. I think we need to ask ourselves, what influences or what has influenced you in choosing the vision that you have? Many times people are influenced by their own selfish needs and desires. Sometimes we are influenced because we find ourselves in a difficult position. And when I say difficult position, usually it is associated with a difficult financial situation. You might be deep in debt. You don't know where the next cent is coming from, where the next dollar is going to come. I don't know what is influencing you right now. Maybe you are influenced by your parents. Maybe you're influenced by your siblings. Maybe you're influenced by your children. Maybe you're influenced by your community, your culture. There are things that are influencing you powerfully. But I think that the kind of influence that is the most powerful is that which is inspirational. Inspirational comes from the word in spirit. It's a spiritual experience. It's kind of a revelation. It's like the lights go on. Your eyes are open. You're no longer blind. You look through walls. You look through the present and you see the future. It's almost like sticking your hand right through and pulling the future into the present. That's what happens when you have a revelation, when you are inspired. And I would like to say divinely inspired, because when that happens, there is nothing that can detract or distract you from the vision that you have caught a glimpse of. By the way, you catch a vision. You don't tell a vision. A lot of people are watching the television every single day, morning, noon, and night. They're watching the television, hoping for some sign to stick up with their name on and say, this is your mission, and this is your mandate. Well, I want to tell you that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. A vision is caught. A vision is the result of seeing a need that needs to be met and suddenly recognizing that you have all the gifts and talents to meet that need. So stop looking around, stop complaining, stop looking to who else is going to meet the need, and begin to realize that the fact that you saw the need in the first place may mean that you are wired for meeting that particular need. Somebody said yesterday morning, don't give your problem away. Or don't sell your problem, because when you sell your problem to someone else, you give away your opportunity. And so the very problems that you see in the world could be the things that you have been wired to solve. It could be your great advantage. So clarity of vision influences direction. But let's trust that our vision is one that has been inspired from within and not being influenced by the external media that we're so exposed to today. And then finally, the letter D talks about direction. In the clarity of vision influences direction. And I think a lot of people through this period of time, which I call the Great Preparation, through the period of the Great Preparation, have been on a detour. They've gone in a different direction to the one that they originally saw when they caught their vision. Where are you right now? Are you on a detour? Have you been distracted perhaps? Have you felt that maybe you've lost that determination? I'm not sure where you find yourself today. Uh, in fact, I was saying to Henny, who's going to be leading the discussion after the session, I was talking to him about the lack of conviction in today's world and the ease at which people are distracted. And so I think it's important to go and just take a look at that vision and ask yourself the question, am I still on track? Or have I been distracted by the needs of today, my own personal needs? Or am I still invested in the dream that God has given me? Because I think it's important that not only does clarity of vision influence direction, but maybe clarity of vision inspires destiny. Maybe your destiny is being tested right now. Maybe your detour has taken you on a path away from the place where you should be going. The good news is that you can get back on track instantly. All you have to do is put your eyes back on that vision. And when you do, the clarity will be there. The opportunities are going to come. The vision is going to be more than clear. And you will find yourself beginning to shift, to change, to take steps in the direction that you need to go. I hope that COVID is now going to be or have a new meaning for you. Because for me, it stands for clarity of vision influences direction, or clarity of vision inspires destiny. It's been wonderful chatting to you this evening. I look forward to engaging with you after the session with Henny. So please share your insights, ask questions, and we're going to have a short discussion immediately following this short break. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody. All righty, looks like Glen has got a little bit more light than I do, but not a problem. All righty. Before we start continue the discussion, Glen, just looking at it, want to welcome the people that I can see online already. Delmarie, welcome. Passmore, welcome. Guys, please keep it going as per always. I'll be honest, when I say the last 3 or 4 shows we had was actually very fun, with the talk coming from the online members as well. It makes it a lot more interesting. So please let it come. If there's questions, anything from your side, please put it there. I'm going to keep an eye on it as we discuss. Glen, I'm going to dive in straight away. You really spoke about the positive side of COVID, and a lot of people didn't really experience it that way. And I think one of the reasons, my opinion, one of the reasons was because of a lack of a vision. If we had that, we would have seen COVID very differently. If we didn't have a vision, then the television you spoke about, basically created a vision for us and told us what the doom and gloom is, and you're going to need vaccinations, and it sort of formed the whole world in a way that was never done before, which is kind of scary. Why do people find it so difficult to have a vision or even get to the fun part of building a vision board? Why do you think people don't get to it?
Well, Henny, before I answer that, I just want to welcome Passmore. I've all the way from Zambia, which you've already welcomed. Um, but I just sent, I think it was yesterday morning, I just sent a DHL parcel off to Zambia, and it's so exciting to have things happening in other countries. And I look forward to visiting Lusaka soon. I think the reason people fail to put together vision boards is because they have the wrong kind of vision. You know, the vision board typically that people would put together is they want a new fridge in the kitchen. They want a new car. They have a vision of a dream house that they will one day move into when they retire, and all the friends that they wanted to impress are dead. You know, those kind of vision boards are not inspiring. And I think um, the truth is that most young people, most teenagers, automatically or instinctively start creating a vision board, and they put pictures up in their bedroom. Um, but the kind of pictures they put up there are not aligned with the vision that they have. The pictures they put up are of the heroes they wish they could become. And this is because of the way our society is today, where um, we are so desperate to be accepted by others that we're constantly trying to perform. You know, in the classroom, only one person gets recognized, and that's the person who comes first. So if you come first in the mathematics class, you're the teacher's pet in the maths class. If you fail in English, nobody knows you. So I think the vision boards that people, the reason people don't put vision boards together is because the things that they want are not inspiring. And it's not about what you want, it's about what have you come to give? What brings meaning? What meaning are you going to bring to the world? If you start connecting with that kind of vision, I think you will then start putting together these pictures. After all, you've got pictures in your mind. Why not just put them on paper so you can see them with your that you can see them with your natural sight, and other people can see it too.
Yeah, I think the big thing is people have sort of lost the ability to see the future. I think we are actually living in the past.
Yeah.
This has happened, and I cannot really go forward. And we start losing that ability to put something down. Um, it's a simple exercise. If you've got a vision board, and yeah, you know, you spoke about the car, but let's say I put something down there. If I put a red car there because that's the car that I want, and I look at it every day, once, even two times a day, it's funny that that car starts appearing everywhere. I start seeing it everywhere. I think Jordan called it the car effect, if I remember correctly. So the car effect then says that car is visible everywhere. And the more I look at the picture online, the more detail I start seeing whenever I start seeing the car. And I think that's really how simple it is. But what was key though from what you did say is a vision board needs to be about being significant and not about being me. It shouldn't be about being successful. It shouldn't be me having a car, me having a house, me having all these wonderful things. It should almost be the opposite, which is then to be significant, to say, what did I manage to do for society? What am I leaving behind if I continue? And I think you're right. I think for me, that's the key thing. My first vision board was exactly what we spoke about right now, and I had to redo it once I started seeing the difference between success and significance. And I think that's where we need to focus significance.
You know what's interesting, Henny, is that most men marry the picture that is in the wallet that they carry around. Um, what I mean by that, maybe that's giving my age away, perhaps. But when I was at university, you'd have a wallet, and inside your wallet there'd be a picture of the person you intended to marry one day, and you would there's very few people who carry a picture around of some other girl and they get married to someone else. You get married to the picture that's in your wallet, and that just kind of in a humorous way demonstrates the power of having a vision board. And so, although you may have pictures up of the car and so on and the house, those do become a reality. But at the end, you've got to ask yourself the question, to what extent are those going to inspire you and others? I remember attending a map cafe at Santon many years ago, and we were sitting at the Mug and Bean. It was a Thursday morning, and the task was that every participant bring their vision board along. And of course, there were 8 people for the breakfast that morning, and they were each sharing their vision board. And it was fascinating to just observe. I was visiting that morning, and I was observing the interaction and what was happening. And I could see that as people were sharing their vision board, they were excited and enthusiastic about all the things that they wanted. But no one else was interested at all in the vision because it was about, getting my degree, earning $1 million, having the fancy car, the house. No one else was interested. And then the last person to share their vision had a very, very different vision board. The vision board was something like this: I've seen a need in my neighborhood. There are children that are roaming the streets and they don't have parents. And so I want to help with the street children issue in my neighborhood, and I'd like to build an orphanage of some kind, a home that they can call, or that they can experience what it means to be part of a family. Do you know what was fascinating about that was that every single person that was there that morning was throwing in ideas, talking about how they could help, pointing out people that could potentially help with the funding of this vision. It was the only vision board that got everyone's attention and engagement. All of the other vision boards had no interest whatsoever. So my lesson that I took from that is that if I want to attract the resources necessary to fulfill the vision that I have, I better have a vision that's going to be of value to others, and not one that's just about me. And so that morning demonstrated that. And I hope that your vision board, those of you listening this evening, have one that inspires others. Because if your vision is exciting and motivating, other people are going to ask to be part of it. And they're going to contribute in ways that you can't even imagine yet.
Oh, thank you. Let's quickly say hello to a few new people here. Brenda, Paul Smith, and Sankwe. Welcome aboard. Paul says, I like the inspires destiny part. The definition of motivation, it's a desire held in expectation, in the belief that it will be realized. I agree with you, Paul. Uh, I came up with a definition. For me, a vision board is a preview of what it's going to look like in the future. So when you watch these movies and you go into Netflix and these things, there's always a little trailer, and you can watch that trailer, and that gives you like highlights from the whole movie. I think for me, a vision board is that. It's that highlights of what's still coming. But I like to measure things, and I think Glen has just given me something. How do you measure your vision board? You show it to other people, and if you excite them, then you've got a good vision board going. If you don't excite them, then it means you might get answers like, I'm glad for you, I hope you get to it. But if you start exciting people with your vision board, and when you start sharing it, you know you're on the right track. So that, I think, is a test that we can follow. Glenn, getting back to COVID, COVID was, in a lot of sense, whether we believe it or not, something that a lot of people didn't survive. I saw a quote somewhere during the week that says, "Tomorrow is a bonus, not a right." Um, for me, that is very interesting. When we now spoke about the COVID year as well, me myself, experienced it very differently, and I think you also experienced it differently. But if we start looking at tomorrow being a bonus and not uh, a right, I think it will change things. I mean, we need to know where we're going, because tomorrow might be the end of the road for us. So clarity of vision is super important. I need to know what I'm going to be doing in the next 3-4 hours before I go to bed. It's almost that critical.
Yeah, I just on Thursday last week, we listened to Glen Jones share 5 C's, and part of his opening statements was success is succession. And I was just thinking, as you're talking about vision and the importance of the future and how the future. Peter, by the way, Peter Darrell says this. He says, "Hope for the future is power in the present." And a vision board is just that. It's that hope for the future. It's the thing that inspires me to act in the now. If I lack a vision that's inspiring, I'm going to be procrastinating in the now. You know what for me, what's interesting is that I was born on a day called today. I will live, or rather, I live on a day called today, and I will die on a day called today. Tomorrow and yesterday don't exist. It's just the now. However, that future that I dream of, that vision is what inspires and what makes the now meaningful. I mean, just this evening, there's lots of things that, well, I've got a list, I've got a book of excuses of why people aren't able to participate in things like we're doing this evening. Um, and you know, there's lots of other things to be doing. Lots of other things that we could be doing this evening. But the fact that there's a vision, that there's a mandate, that there's a purpose that I am called to do, that you are called to do, that you're called to be part of, you're willing to make the investment. And I call it in an investment because many people see that when I have a vision, it's actually I've got to sacrifice something. You don't have to sacrifice anything. The only time you have to sacrifice something is when you're pursuing someone else's vision, when you're working for someone else's dream. When you're doing what you're called to do, every moment is an inspired action and an investment in that vision. And it does something within you when you're engaged in that kind of activity. So I feel myself going off track from what you were talking about earlier, but you certainly inspired me to think about what Andy Stanley says, and that is that success is succession. And you were talking about maybe certain aspects of COVID that people experienced. Of course, there were many people who experienced death during that period. There were people who experienced illness, which was real. We can't diminish the impact that had. But there was a lot of people that spent the time feeling anxious, living in depression. And part of that is because their vision was influenced by the constant bombardment of a single message that reawakened something that we were taught as children before we could even walk. And the message to us as children before we could walk, before we could speak, was through the actions of our parents and of those that we looked up to. The message was this: stay safe. If you go off the blanket, you might hurt yourself. If you step outside the door, there's danger out there. If you step outside the property, you could be run over by a car. And the message that we were taught right at the start of our life was stay safe. In other words, live in fear. And the past 3 years put a lot of people back in that place of fear. And the time to come out is now. And in order to step out of fear and step in faith, there needs to be a clear, compelling vision that aligns with your purpose. Because I know without a doubt that every single person commenting this evening, the people watching and listening to this session, each of them, without any hesitation in my heart whatsoever, is born for a purpose that the world cannot do without. And this is our time. We just need to show up. And the way to show up is to become a person who's not just existing and going work and back, paycheck and broke their whole life, but to get up and start doing something that's making a difference, whether you get paid for it or not. This is what we need to be doing going forward.
Quickly, I want to read two more things, Glenn, before we continue. So, Vengai, welcome aboard. He said something very interesting. The survival mode has blinkered people to focus on the present and wish the future will be different by some magic. But looking for significance and impact inspires you to focus on the future. Very true words. Very true words, Vengai. Before I read your question, Brenda, she's thrown a question at us, Glenn, that we can answer. I read something: to create magic in the world, own the magic within yourself. I think that is the key thing. We need to start looking at that. And while you were talking, I also had this thought that we are not going anywhere. We that directionless existence status, that's where most of us are. If you're in that space, it's purely because you don't have a vision board. I think a vision board is the removal of all obstacles. A vision board is that one thing. If you've got that, you don't have an excuse anymore. So if you one of those people struggling with excuses, get a vision board. Then you shouldn't have any excuses.
I was just typing something there, Henny, and it's Vengai. It's lovely to have you joining us from Harare, Zimbabwe. This is it's so nice to have people joining from these different places, and Vengai is doing a great work among the youth. And I sense in my spirit that he's flying the Map for Life flag where he is, and it's just such a joy to have you part of Map for Life, Vengai. And I look forward to coming to Harare before this year has ended. I just want to, can I just go back to what Vengai was saying there about the survival mode that people find themselves in. I think it is actually commonplace and has always been there that people just hope that the future is going to be different, and yet they keep doing the same thing. A friend of mine rather said to me many years ago, he said, if you stick your finger in your eye and it hurts, stop sticking your finger in your eye. If you're doing something and it's not producing the results that you expect, start changing. If you want something you've never had, you've got to do something you've never done. And I think we err on the side of safety. What is a job? A job is a safe place where you can be assured that you're going to die broke. That's the place if we're looking at it from a financial perspective. But it's not die broke in the terms of financial perspective. It means that if you engage in something that you're not passionate about, you are already dead. And there's many people that are literally walking zombies because they don't have a vision that's inspiring them. And I think that the question that Brenda asked is, can I ascribe my vision board to my personal mission statement or link it to that? Absolutely. I think this needs to be there. Your personal mission statement, however, needs to be something that's going to be impacting the world, not about you. So, for example, when I wrote my personal mission statement, when I put together Map for Life in the year 1999, I wrote these words: to equip people to pursue their purpose with passion and perseverance for life. You might say, how do I remember that? Well, I remember that because that energizes me, and it's been with me for the last 23 years, 24 years. And so when I put the vision board together, it's about that. My vision board is very simple. It looks like this. It's not this particular picture, but I just want to show you the simplicity of my vision board. That's it. It doesn't need to be more than that, because that's the mandate. The mandate is map the world, and so I think it's important that that your vision board is most definitely aligned with your personal mission statement, but that your personal mission statement is a purpose related statement, not something about I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to look like the next supermodel, or whatever that might be. So I hope that helps you, Brenda. And if it's not clear for you yet, please just pop another comment or question.
Yeah.
We'd love to answer that.
Yeah, I would also like to share, and I think I might have done it before. I'm supposedly a living a vision board that became a reality. So my wife of almost 2 years right now, put down something on paper, and it's kind of ironic. She's an artist; she can really draw very nicely. But she took a piece of paper and she wrote down 32 things on a piece of paper of what she's looking for in her future husband. And she also started praying for her husband a year before she met me. But she read through that list of things. And I mean, it was simple things like he's humorous, he's 1.92 meters tall. I don't know what the relevance to that was, but I am actually 1.92 meters. And there was a whole list of things. And the funny thing, about 2 weeks after we got married, she actually shared with me what she put down there. And her vision board, even though it was just writing, was very specific. And unbelievably, I'm ticking each and every little box on there. So she had a vision board for a year. She prayed about her vision board. She prayed for her future husband if he was going to go through some tough times. And I actually met her and we got married. So vision boards do come alive. They do actually happen. You just need to keep on going at it. She had to go at hers for about a year and it realized, I mean, ours might take a little bit longer, but it does happen. Without a vision board, you're not achieving anything. You're not going to get excited about getting anywhere because there was nowhere that you were aiming for.
You know what's interesting about a vision board is we talked about clarity early on, and and when I do training, I often ask people to picture big dog, and and when I ask people what did they see, they usually come back with all kinds of interesting responses. You know, somebody saw a Saint Bernard, another person saw a Great Dane, another person saw a black dog with big teeth. You know, there's all these different descriptions, but in fact, I don't think I've ever had somebody see that picture. In other words, those words in their mind. So our mind converts everything we hear that is written into pictures. And so a vision board enables us to bypass the interpretation of the word, because if we're interpreting the word, we could get the wrong picture. It could be a St. Bernard, it could be a Great Dane, it could be a Rottweiler, whatever it might be. But if you put a picture there and people can see it's actually a German Shepherd, then finding the German Shepherd that is lost is very easy. And so I think our vision board it's almost, it's like literally calling the future into the present.
Yep.
It gives something that already exists the ability to manifest in the physical realm. It's almost of that sort of nature. And when I think about vision, as I mentioned with my spectacles, I understand physical sight and what poor physical sight, or how it can hamper you, how it can make you feel like an invalid. I understand that. It's a real handicap. If I don't wear my spectacles, you know, I'm done. I might as well just sit in the corner and wait. And I think people without vision are like that. And maybe that ties in a bit with what Vengai was saying, is that they like invalids sitting in the corner just waiting for someone to bring them a bowl of soup. But when you put your glasses on and you get clarity of vision, when things come into focus, what's interesting is when I see with my mind's eye, I can see more clearly than I am able with my physical eyes. And what I mean by that is I can look at something with my mind's eye and see detail that is impossible to see with the physical eye. Now, those pictures that I see in my mind are so clear, it's as if I'm looking with my physical eye. But I need to describe it to myself so that my physical eye can also see it, so I can begin to act in an appropriate way to manifest that vision. It's like you talk about the missing puzzle piece. When somebody builds a puzzle, the one thing they keep doing is looking at the puzzle box lid. Why? Because it's the vision of the finished puzzle that enables them to put the next piece in its place. And I think that's the role that a vision board plays in our life. It enables us to take that next step, to do that next task, to complete the next phone call, to write the next letter. I'm using terminology now that is old-fashioned, I think, because with the new social media, it should be maybe the next post that you make is directed by the vision. So just go and take a look. Maybe this evening, go and check up on your Facebook account or whatever other Instagram or whatever. What are you posting there? If it's anything to do with you and making you look glamorous, it's got nothing to do with your vision. You need to start looking at your posts and saying, hang on, am I posting the future that I dream of? Or am I trying to impress the world by the lovely holiday I've just been on, or the nice suit I've just bought, or the new fingernails I've had painted? Because I see the posts that when I go and look at social media, which I do so seldom. If anybody's posting stuff on social media, forgive me. I don't see it. I get the information second or third hand. But when I go and look at things like Facebook and Instagram and so on, the stuff people are posting in general is trivial stuff. It's got nothing to do with vision. It's got nothing to do with direction. I think we need to start changing that. And maybe tonight is that opportunity for you. Go and post something that is meaningful. Post something aligned with where you believe the world should be going and what part you're playing in it. Sorry, Henny, I'm talking too much here. You need to give some.
No.
Hey, Jane, welcome.
Yes.
Nice to have Jane all the way from Uganda.
Yeah, I was just going to share what she put down for us because it's also very interesting.
Please do.
Jane said, my mission must energize me, but it must inspire others to pursue their own purpose. A clear vision is so very important.
I like
100%
that.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, Jane's got an amazing vision. I mean, she has this vision, Henny, of restoring identity. You know, and I think that is so aligned with Map for Life because even in fact our gem this week, we're going to be talking about our gem in the morning, which is all about self-acceptance. And self-acceptance is so linked to identity. And so many people are trying to live up to other people's expectations. They are people pleasers. When vision could well require you to head in the opposite direction to everyone else, to swim upstream, to go against the current. Vision is so powerful, it enables you to do just that, to go where no one else has ever gone before. So it's just so wonderful to engage with someone like Jane, who has a vision for Africa and Arabia and beyond, about restoring identity. And I'm sure she'll be giving a talk one evening on this very subject. Is that correct, Jane?
I think people that's got a vision board that is significant can sell their vision to people and get people to follow them. If I start thinking about in the technical, the IT era where I am, somebody like a Steve Jobs almost had a dream, had a vision. He had a vision board of what it should be look like. That's what an iPhone is going to look like and what it's going to do. And his vision board was so compelling that people actually bought into it and joined hands with him to get to his vision. And I think that's almost how urgent we need to be. Our vision board needs to be something so big that people want to buy in and be part of it so that we can achieve it. And then it's not about you, so that we can achieve it. So it's almost a case of I'm not going to achieve my vision board. We are going to achieve my vision board because then I'm on the right track.
Here's an interesting thought I've had, Henny. Have you seen a rose?
Yeah,
A red rose?
I have.
And what's interesting is that when you describe a red rose, I'm talking about the red rose growing in a garden. Okay, when you describe a red rose in the garden, seldom do you hear people talking about the stem and the color of the stem and the thorns on the stem and the colors of the leaves and all of that. They focus on the rose. That is what they sell. They talk about the smell, the aroma that comes from the rose, or the perfume, that perfume smell that you get. And they talk about the beauty of the rose. What's interesting is when trees are described, the flower is a very important indicator in terms of identifying a tree, the flower or the fruit. And I think a vision board is something like that. I don't think I would use, I wouldn't use the word sell when it comes to vision. I think I would use the word share, because when you share a vision, it's like the tree. You know, a tree can't speak bee. It can't speak to the bee. It can't even see the bee. So what does it do? It pops out a vision, and it pops out a vision that is of interest to the bee. And the bee finds that vision, because the bee is looking for that flower, and the bee finds the flower. And when the bee finds the flower, it pollinates the flower, and the tree becomes fruitful as a result. And I think maybe when we're doing our vision board, it needs to be like that flower. So when the people or the bees that are out there that need to pollinate it see it and immediately identify it and are attracted to it and want to engage, because inside that flower is nectar for them to make their honey. And so maybe to some extent that's what a vision board could be likened to.
I'm just thinking now as well. And it sort of touches on the puzzle thing again. But by me having a vision board, it might actually realize somebody else's vision. Somebody else might have had a vision that wanted to do something, and the fact that I've got a vision board is maybe just the last missing piece that was needed for them to realize their vision board. So without having a vision board myself, I might actually be limiting a number of people to achieve what they wanted to. But if I've got my vision board and their vision boards then starts aligning to mine, I'm actually creating opportunity for people to get to what they're aiming for.
Henny, this is such an important thing that you're bringing up now, and this maybe comes back to why um, weak vision boards are put together. And when I say weak vision boards, um, the world is focused on competition, and everything's about who's going to win. And so one person's competing against the next person with their visions, and there's this tug of war. But when you come to purpose, purpose is not about competition, it's about completion. And so when we put together a legitimate purpose linked vision that ignites our passion and gets us absolutely laser focused on the future that we are creating, I think we are definitely putting together a part of a much bigger puzzle. It's almost like a tapestry that's been woven together, and each person is adding their little stitch into this tapestry. And so what you are saying there is so important. let's not put vision boards together to impress other people. Let's put vision boards together to impact other people. And if we do that, I think we're going to have that engagement from people, from all people who see that vision. Um, and yeah, I think you've raised a very, very powerful point there.
I'm quickly just looking at the online. Jane has just said yes, so I'm assuming she's happy to do a talk for us because that's the last question you raised to her. So
Absolutely, that's for sure.
Jane is has confirmed she will do that. Brenda saying it's a beautiful analogy, and purpose is all about completion. Thank you. And you did ask Brenda where she are from. She is from Joburg South.
Oh, wonderful. So, Brenda, all the way from South Africa, you're so far away.
Yeah. Um, Glenn, we've got about 5 minutes left before I am being hit by one of the long ones. So I'm wondering if we shouldn't start wrapping it up. Anything closing from your side?
I think what I would just like to say to each of the people that have tuned in this evening, your engagement in life is necessary. The vision that God has placed on your heart is vital. And your dream, as Lupita says, is valid. And I just want to encourage you to join in with us. Make it a point of every Wednesday evening, and every Thursday evening now as well. Or go and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you receive the notifications. Because it's this kind of engagement that leads to mentorship that might give you a different perspective. Every week, Henny's kind of becoming the face of Map for Life on the screen. So you will see Henny on regular intervals. But we have different people joining in on these shows, and each one sharing things from their perspective. And sometimes just hearing someone else's perspective on something unlocks your stuckness. And so I'd encourage you, join us. But I also want to congratulate you for showing your commitment to your vision and your purpose by joining us tonight. You demonstrating that you committed, that you have conviction, that you have what it takes to fulfill the call of God in your life. And I look forward to meeting you as we journey around the world. Maybe you're going to be one of those people to step into a new country and touch a new life and transform the people around that territory. So that's just what I'd like to leave with this evening. Henny, over to you for you to close tonight.
Cool. Yeah. I've always got this mindset that whenever I go into anything, I need to go and learn something from it. Um, and specifically, I'm always on the panel because I really, really love it so much because I'm learning from people like yourselves that's posting there, that's leaving messages for us, that's asking us questions. It is unbelievable how much I learn in a session like this. I sometimes have to go and rewatch parts of the video that was recorded because there was gold nuggets in there that I want to still see as well. So thank you very, very much for everything. Brenda saying thank you for today. This platform is my enabler and partner in purpose. I may not be tuning at all times, but Wednesday is simply my commitment to this platform. God bless you. Jane is saying thank you, very powerful. So from my side, thank you very much for your posts. Thank you very much for being online. It's growing something for me as well. It's allowing me to grow as a person. It's giving me a lot more to think about. So I'm learning just by you being online. Thank you very, very much. And Passmore, thank you, Glen. I've learned a lot. Vision is seeing the unseen. So go make sure you've got a vision board running. Make sure that when you hit MapShow 100, your vision board is 100% correct. Maybe the challenge is make sure your vision board is 100% correct before you hit number 99, which is tomorrow. Go and work on your vision board. It makes a bigger difference than you think. Thank you very much. Looking forward to to see you online again tomorrow or next Wednesday. Thank you very much.
Mangwanani, Salibonani, good morning. I am Coach Prim from Harare, Zimbabwe. This is my favorite hill where I jog every morning. So for me, Made for Life is making a positive difference in people's lives. I started using Made for Life in 2012, and this habit that you see today, it came because of Made for Life. My favorite quote is, leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. And thank you, Glen, for influencing our lives. Be mapped.